Hi guys, I am back to Smarty Mum, and today I have a bit of an art tutorial for rocks for Halloween. So happy Halloween! It's not something we really say here in England, so it's a bit of a weird statement, but I've still thought we'd have a bit of fun over here and something you could all enjoy. If you like the video, as always, please give it a like, please subscribe, click the notification bell, you know, all that stuff we do here on YouTube, getting used to saying that kind of statement. As I said, it's going to be a bit of a tutorial. I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing. It's basically, yeah, you'll see as we go along. It's if you find a character you like, kids character you like, and how you work out how to draw it, how to find the shapes in it, and so forth. Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. I'm very tired today, so it might get a bit random. I went out today for a walk with a friend, or wheel with a friend in a wheelchair. You can say wheel, roll. Roll's good. Roll works, doesn't it? Anyway, I said tired, so we'll see. My husband's shaking his head at me. As I said, this is going to be a weird one, so I'll see you on the flip side. Don't mind my tiredness, guys. Okay, as I said, I've been very tired. My hands are still covered with ink because I've been doing Inktober all month. But what I'm doing is a Monster High character. So you found the character you like. Best thing you can do first is find a reference picture. And what you're doing from that picture is you want to pick out shapes. Get yourself a pencil and start looking for the course shape. So on the picture I found, which I really should have put on the screen, I'm going to ask my husband if he can to try and put it in the top corner for you alongside this. But otherwise, if he doesn't, there. It's one of those days. Look for the shapes. The head is quite a simple one, but then the neck, we've got like a rectangular shape. Picking out the cuffs, yeah, again, two circular shapes. Look for specific shapes in the bodies. Usually when cartoon characters are drawn, they're actually drawn in quite bulky shapes, so you'll be able to see quite distinctive triangles, shapes, oblongs. And if you find them and do them bit by bit and build them by the shapes, it's a lot easier. So you look at drawing the bodies there, yet again, it's another rectangle. And then you can build the lines going down, and you can add the features at the end. Don't worry about drawing the eyes in. And I know I'm going to be painting on this later, but trust me, having these guidelines, it just makes it so much easier for you. And rather than going straight on with that pen, it just, yeah, it makes your life a little bit easier. So whether you're drawing Monster High like I'm doing here, or you're going to be going on with a Mario character, dragon, anything that's like cartoon based, it just really helps starting off with your base. Get your pencil out. Now I'm using a mechanical pencil because they draw really well on rock and are really good for super detailed work like this. So you see, we've got little I call them like little petal shapes for her skirt. I'm not really super good with the technical words for things because, well, I trained myself. I call them squishy little petals. And yeah, so start building it all up and it'll come together. Rather than looking at it as a whole, it'll all slowly start coming together. And yeah, so I'm going to let this bit go through and we'll get onto the painting bit in a minute. But you'll see slowly as this forms, we'll get a figure. So you can see, getting to the end there, we've got all the shapes together. Now I've already looked at what colours I'm going to need before I started this, which is, if you're organised, a really good way to start. Now I'm not usually super organised. I usually pick my colours as I go. But for this piece, I actually for once pulled them all out at the beginning and put them next to me. Now I'm mixing colours for this, but you don't always need to do so. And for work like this, you can also do this with your pens. Our owl pens I've found recently are really quite good. Posca pens too, also really good. But start with your core mid colours, so whatever your main colour's going to be, darker colours you want to put on next, and your lighter. If you're using pens, obviously you can do a bit different if you want, if you're just going to do one layer of each. But I tend to go all the way across, and then I'll add my darker and lighters afterwards. Now obviously if you go over it, maybe a pencil, it's not the end of the world. There are guidelines, but it does help. So, and obviously the rock, you can see I've got a bit of a divot at the top where her hairline is. You can take that kind of thing into account, and I just smudged there into the pencil, so that ends up needing going over again with a bit of a lighter shade. But that happens. Go easier with yourself if you make mistakes. It's not going to look perfect straight away, and try and just have a bit of fun with it. Obviously if it's your first time also trying to recreate a character, it's not going to go perfect your first time. Mine didn't. My first character I did, I think, was a Mario or a Spider-Man. It was one for my kid, and it didn't look anything like this. But with time and practice, they got better, and they can become really fun to do. This one I did, and I actually hid out in the neighbourhood, as I said today, along with so many others, and I've got the link up for my Instagram. You can see how many went out, all for the neighbourhood kids. I didn't hide them today, I had them. It is today, but today's not going to be today on YouTube. So today was Friday, all for the neighbourhood kids out in our area. So there was loads that went out over this time, and I think we had, I did a gremlin one, which the kids thought was a scary Furby, which was amazing because the shadow looked like a scary Furby. I did Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, Mario all dressed up, really super cool. Bugs Bunny as a vampire. So we had some really cool ones going out. So go take a look. Anyway, I'm going to leave you until we get to a bit more of the shading and highlighting, because at this point we're just going to be adding these layers in. But then afterwards, I'll leave you till we go a bit further on. Otherwise you're going to be listening to a very tired person ramble. Right guys, I'm going to come in about here to talk to you, because we've obviously done a bit of lighting effects on the hair already, you've probably seen. And here is where I'm starting to add some of the layered work into her skirt. You can see it's just lightly tapping it all in. And you'll see that she doesn't right now look perfectly like the end result. That's okay again, as I said, it takes time. But we're starting to add some of the highlights in as well. So you're wanting to look at, till we do that, where you want your core light to be coming from. And generally, then you add the light on the side where your light's coming from, and your dark colour on the side where it isn't. And it's pretty much that simple. So if your light's coming from your left-hand side, that's where your light would be, and then your dark would be on the underside. And creating shadow effects, I will do a piece of work that will show it a bit better later with markers. I think markers are a lot easier to show that effect with. But yeah, a piece like this isn't as easy to show it on. I've done a bit of it. As I said, markers are way easier to show it with, so I can do that another day. But as you've started to see, I've started to layer up colours, and you'll see I've gone over a couple of them. It's because one of the purples I'm using is actually a translucent, It's one of the nicer purples I've got, but because it's not opaque, it needed mixing in with another colour, meaning it just needed a bit more time to get the right shade I wanted. I'm going to leave you till I get to the final stage, let you listen to a bit of cool music, and we'll see how this girl comes out at the final bit. Nope, back a bit, it's a black pen. Right. This is where I messed up, so you need to erase that bit. Yeah, just as I start with the black pen. Should be around here. Right guys, so this is one of my favourite bits. You see now she's got all the colour on, but she doesn't quite look complete, does she? Well, that's because you've got your fine liner. Now with fine liner needs to be so you can be a uni pen, you can be using a Tombow, but it needs to be a pen that's got 0.5 or below, and this is kind of work. And you need to make sure it works with whatever resin you've got. So do a test strip, or resin or varnish, because some of them don't, some of them bleed. Now uni pen I've noticed do work with most, but this is where you add your fine details. And it does take a steadier hand, which is why I work when my hands are really steady, which is not all the time thanks to my health. But you can see we can add her eyelashes in, we can add her nose, and we can, on this piece, outline. You don't need to outline every piece. And all these little fine details, they're what pull together and complete a piece like this. And they make a character like this come fully to life. So this is the fun bit. There's a final little trick which is going to go on at the end. So I'm going to leave you to watch this, and I'll come back to you right at the end. Right guys, so we're finishing with this black pen. And isn't she looking good now? Looking more recognisable to our vampire queen. Oh, she's looking more like one now, isn't she? But she is missing something important to be a vampire queen. This is where our white pen comes in. We can put in those little marks on her, down there. Make that skirt look as it does in our core picture. And something even more important that she has, which she's got her teeth, obviously thanks to them, I think. But she just looks more the part and ready to go. So there we go, that's our vampire queen. So whatever you've decided to do, whether you're trying to actually do this, these white pens you can always also use to highlight any light effects as well. So any of the little tiny little highlights, bright effects that you've got going on, also use your white pens for that. But whatever character you're trying to do, just give it a go, and don't be your harshest critic. 'Cause I can be mine sometimes, and it's not good. And the people that find your rocks, if you're making them for that kind of thing, they love them. And that's the beauty of rock art. You make them and it makes someone smile. So have a go, have some fun with it. And yeah, I'm going to say bye till next time. So I do hope you enjoyed this video, despite the absolute, well, half tired, half asleep, crazy person talking at you throughout it. I hope it was okay, and at least I did this yesterday while I was awake. This bit, happy Halloween to all of you. Hope you have fun trick-or-treating if you're doing so. Stay safe out there if you do go trick-or-treating. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.